Hi, this is Chris German. Welcome back to the Apartment Dealers Show. We're here now for episode 2 of my most recent rehab. When you're doing substantial improvements to multifamily properties, what is it that Chris does to his own properties? What are those items that we look to do capital improvements on? And so we wanted to give you an update where we are in the project. We're about halfway through, but I wanted to show you before we get to the finished product so you know how we got from A to Z. So let's take a look. Okay, for starters, you can see that the electrical now has been all updated. So if we swing around, we still have a bare wire here. So you can see, right, we got the new Romex pull through. We got our plugs where they need to be per code every so many feet. We have our switches that have all been updated. Our recessed lighting has been installed all the way through. And so the electrical is complete for the entire unit. When you're doing substantial improvements in multifamily properties in the state of California, now this unit was vacant when I took it over, but had a tenant been living here, per the letter of the law, at least as the recording of this video, I could have given them a 60-day notice to vacate in order to upgrade the electrical and the sub-panel. And that wouldn't just have been an excuse to ask them to vacate. The sub-panel for this unit was dated. You had it where they were piggybacking multiple breakers in order to service the unit. That's a fire hazard. So rather than let someone live under those conditions, of course, the electrical must be attended to, but you cannot change out the electrical in an apartment unit without it being vacated. Why? Well, take a look. Just to run the wires in order to get to the switch, they had to cut multiple holes in order to fish the wire all the way back to the sub panel. And anything else as you go through, you take a look, and it's too much demolition that has to be done in order to update the electrical. A tenant must vacate. Okay. Second biggest improvement since we've been here, you'll see here that the layout of the living room has changed. In episode 1, I thought that we were simply going to be able to eliminate the closet in the bedroom and cut all the way in, or use that newfound space for a dining area. Well, you'll see now that the wall's more at an angle, and that's because of the way that the bedroom was situated. We would have taken too much space. We would have taken too much space away from the bedroom. And so I said, okay, let's find a workaround. The whole premise of why we went in this direction to begin with was to give the tenant at least a small area for dining. I have had and still own some apartments where there's no room for a dining room table. That people don't look highly on that. Potential tenants, they prefer, even if it's a small area. So you probably can get a small, like a card size table, 4-person table here. It doesn't take away at all from the living room, because the living room is good size. And so that's why we went through this demolition and changing out the layout there. As we move into the kitchen, of course, doorway, good width on the doorway. Kitchen has been completely blown out. And once again, you'll see that we have our electrical being set up, for our new cabinets and countertop that's going to go in. We have our plumbing that's all been updated. So we have our new copper that's been installed, or at least maybe not. I think it must have been installed already. And as we whip around to the washer dryer area, we have our box that's been installed for the hot and cold and the drain. The gas line that's there for the dryer. The layout's going to be very similar to what it once was. But in addition to installing the box for the laundry hookups, because before the hot and cold were just exposed, it intruded into the space. Now they're recessed into the wall. This is our area for the refrigerator. And so now we have a water line for the refrigerator, as well as more and more, even your traditional apartment size refrigerators come with an ice maker, maybe not on the outside, but at least internally. So that gives the tenant an option of having the ice maker. We'll head over to the bathroom and the hallway because some major changes here. So we'll step into the bathroom, not the largest of bathrooms, but if you remember, we had a typical tub with shower. We decided to go with a standalone shower. The reason why we did that was we needed to make more space available, and I'll slide over as cameraman enters, so that we could put the toilet and the sink on one wall. Before, the toilet was here and the sink was here. That's why you can see where the old medicine cabinet was and so forth. Contractor still has to eliminate this plug, but you literally were standing over the toilet in order to shave or what have you. I prefer the plumbing to be all on one wall. I think that makes it more user friendly. And then over here, they'll put like a towel hanger and that sort of thing. But to me, it just makes it more clean. We did install recessed sliding and a exhaust fan for the bathroom. You must install exhaust fans. More and more, what you'll find is that there's buildup of moisture. Tenants will call it mold, try to get the health department on you. But what it is because maybe they don't have a fan, they don't have a window, depending on the layout of the bathroom. They have no way to release the moisture that built up from a shower. In this case, we have both. Many of the units that I own, we typically have both. But the other thing I'll mention about the exhaust fan, aside of the necessity to have one, is once the switches are done, you're going to have it where it comes on automatically when the lights are turned on. So the tenant has no choice but to turn on the fan. What you'll find is if the fan's on an independent switch, or if the fan is a single light, but there's other lights to be used on a separate switch, lo and behold, the tenant won't turn on the fan. Now, we have them sign a separate form when they move in, along with the rental agreement, that says basically you promise to either open the window, use the fan, or both, because if you don't, and we get that typical buildup of moisture and soap scum and what have you that on the ceiling, it's going to be your cost, not ours, because we went through the rigmarole to give you a fan, to give you a window. You got to use them. We'll step this way. So I'm noticing that we have what looks to be switches here, and I hope that that's not switches for the bathroom. It just can't be. But I'm also failing to see where the switches are for the bathroom. So that's a conversation that the contractor and I are going to have. At the end of that conversation, what you'll find is there's going to be switches in the bathroom. So the water heater. So this is where the water heater was originally. This is where the water heater is going to go, except we're going to finish it off with more modern cabinetry, get a built-in cabinet here. So that's what we're going with here. And then it's kind of narrow, we'll come through. Because we've eliminated the closet in the bedroom, we had some shelves here, double shelves prior. We have eliminated that, and this is going to be their closet with shelves for 2 sets of clothes, or I should say a pole to hang your clothes, 2 levels, and then a shelf up top to put shoes and what have you. Sliding wardrobe doors here. This is where we're going to install our closet. And then we have our new and improved sub panel. Now, here we go. So here we are, all updated. Doesn't have a cover, but, or this may be the cover. I'm not sure if it has another internal cover. But at any rate, you see here that, again, we actually did upgrade the sub panel. Now we have circuits for everything, especially because we're adding a garbage disposal and what have you. You need the individual circuits. Now, the bedroom, I'll swing this way so you can get the full effect of what we did here. So my original thought, both the contractor and I, and now realizing what that was going to mean, was that we would have had to bring the wall. In order to make the living room area square, we would have had to bring this wall out and then turn back in. And obviously, even though that's only, 2 to 3 feet worth of space, that would have dug into the bedroom too much in terms of, okay, now how do you set up your furniture? So we said, hey, you know what? Let's take it at an angle. Even that slight difference allows for there to be more room in the bedroom. To now you have a couple options where to put your bed and your nightstands and what have you. We try to make our units that much more livable when we're done with them in terms of the layout, the style, the amenities. As I've said many times, my wife and I, my family, we were renters once upon a time. We want to give our tenants a finished product that we would want to live in ourselves. And so maybe we do extend ourselves in some areas. Maybe the argument could be made that, well, Chris, you didn't need to do this or that thing. You're right. I may not have needed to, but I choose to because my experience is you treat people how you want to be treated. And by doing that, lo and behold, you get better results than you would have anticipated. In our case, that always has meant above market rental rates and just having a clear conscience in terms of how we're dealing with our tenants. And again, this is not, I'm not here to chastise anyone's way of management. I'm just saying, as you watch this video and you begin to question every penny and cent that we spend, and we're going to give you that roundup at the end of the project, keep in mind that one of our guiding principles here is that when we're done, we take a look at it and we say, okay, if we were in these tenants' shoes, would we want to live there? We want to be able to answer yes and no, that we did everything in the right fashion, everything was done per code, and that it's a safe living space. So we're quite happy with the project as it stands. Our next video will bring you in when we have the finished product, and then we're going to go through the financials. With the increased cost of materials and labor, our remodels, just probably like your remodels of late, are definitely costing us more than they did even just a few years ago. And so we're having to allow for that as we calculate projects that we look to purchase and rehab. It's a part of doing business. It's a new world when it comes to the expenses, but it is what it is. I hope that you find these episodes helpful. Please leave us a comment below. You have questions with regards to your own remodel. Again, drop a comment below, share your comments below, share this video with other landlords other would-be landlords. We look to serve the community of landlords in that way. Share as much information as we can and share a real-life experience of, hey, this is what we're going through in terms of our remodels. Here's the reality of managing properties in light of rent control and all the new legislation. And this is still how you not only survive in multifamily, but how you thrive. Chris German from the Apartment Dealer, wishing you positive cash flow, tenants who behave, and much protection from Uncle Sam. Till next time.